Welcome to our regular Thursday session of Viewer Levels. As we await the first submissions, we are going to open with a warm-up puzzle by Saku, who is a maker who really made a big splash this week with the release of the Crawl Space Mole Control level that was in week 7 of the 4YMM 4 Years of Mario Maker project. We've had a fantastic time with Saku's puzzle levels so far, and we're going to look at the first one that was made all the way back in July of last year. This is White Noise, which is rather thematically appropriate, given that it probably isn't an adaptation of the novel by Don DeLillo. It involves an airborne toxic event. In any case, the clue here is put on your boots and solve the mystery of the white noise. Clue at the doors. We can never tell anything about something like a 20% clear percentage in a puzzle level where timeouts are possible, and may indeed be a bigger threat than execution mistakes. And the clue seems to be that Karibo's shoe here, the Goomba in the boot, is holding the key, and that is correct. And that seems to be an initial signal about how to read such clues. Hitting the on-off switch also activates the POW, which will get rid of the muncher and do something else. Probably by setting the off switch. Oh, whoops. Looks like we just need to learn how to read signals like that. And also probably lead a Buzzy Shell over to that location, such that we can get it killed. Okay, there we go. I think the mushroom is much appreciated. We'll just take this and set it down by traversing the semi-solids. A great deal of this level is about learning how to navigate semi-solid columns. Fairly simple column stacking so far, and of course the rules about semi-solid stacking in the Maker 2 engine tend to be comparatively strict. Hey, Redox, welcome. Glad you came by. It was not certain at all that we could actually run the stream today, but I'm glad we managed to get it up and running, because I did think there would be a pretty big personal delay or even a cancellation, and we managed to make it, so let's see if we can do something about the plant. It looks like I'll ultimately have to claim a boot and stomp on it. Means I'll be required to navigate my way around. First of all, by wrapping around this way. I think the silence in this level is rather important, given that it is a level about white noise. Also, the necessity of taking the boot with us, I think, is fairly clear. Ah, here's a plant. Not the plant I thought I was aiming for, but we'll take it. And yeah, Redox, looking forward to On-Off Mayhem. I know we could not get to it on a previous session because you came in just after closing, so very nice to see that at the head of the queue. Okay, back up front. And in we go. So now we have dropped back here. No, this is new territory. This is new territory because we have not seen the bomb before. So we just need to look for a bomb location. That should sort itself out rather quickly. Probably involving using the shoe to jump on this. Interesting that I saw the puzzle solving tag on this, but it's quite different from what we've seen of Saku's other puzzle interactions. Yet similar in the respect that it is built around this winding exploratory layout. And yeah, we are back here in familiar territory, but we did manage to open up the Muncher Gates. The Muncher Gates are, of course, going to be a temporary thing. So let's think about our destination. Our destination is to grab the key off the bomb. Having already grabbed the previous keys off things like the Buzzy... I mean, the Buzzy is dead, so... not much to work with there, but coming back here with the shoe is new, and it allows us to ride the thwomp up, so you can kind of tell where that early germinal Metroidvania style, not that we endorse the term, but the sort of Metroid style exploratory influence, Puzzlevania influence is coming from in Saku's layouts. I don't know if we actually wanted to do that. We are, however, going to restore the on switch. And perhaps the on switch will reveal something interesting about where we can locate a bomb. Nothing too interesting yet, although I think we actually do need a boo in order to get back out front. I sort of like the idea of stomping on a boo, but I feel like we'll have to strategize around that. So, welcome to everybody who has come in the meantime. Sorry I haven't been able to greet you all yet as I navigate this puzzle. But thank you for submissions from Neagle Jeagle, 40-second speedrun, High Blue Sky, and Lolcraft Plays. Big skip squeak test. To answer the question from Mia's Chicken, I assume you're asking about the Alpha Rad troll level that you sent me last week. No, we didn't go back to finish it. I think we made a pretty reasonable amount of progress, but I have not had time to look at it a second time just yet. Okay, so what has changed? We now have the switch on the on state, and we now have the clue about the bomb, but we have no actual access to the bomb yet. And only this exit door has something viable. So suppose we come back here with the switch in the on state. Does that change anything important? Having the shoe and having the on button are the things that have progressed. And no, we're back here, okay. Looks like it might be potentially something up here. Nope. Not by the looks of it. Might be some vital clue that I have not been reading. But yeah, let's just retrace our steps here. We've gotten to the bomb, that's the limit of our progression so far. We've managed to see the top of the screen, which is all jump blocks. We've managed to clear this gate. Clearing this gate killed the Buzzy, but killing the Buzzy doesn't do anything for us because we already spent the key. But then why would there be a limitation on the keys? Like, why wouldn't... I mean, we already claimed the key from that Buzzy, so I guess that's why it doesn't give us a key, but there's something going on with the key logic when it comes to what the enemies are able to hold that perhaps I'm not consistently understanding, so we'll just try to loop around here and see if I missed something. Seems like the thing I probably missed is something that happens at the very head of the level when you go back while keeping the boot. And we'll see how that works. Yeah, coming back here, tapping that, coming back here, going over the gate, returning, here is the bomb. Here is the bomb. And this is not even the first time that we've seen a cloud-related interaction from a Saku level, because Saku's most recent puzzle, not counting the mole puzzle in 4YMM, was something that was based on leading objects around riding the cloud, which is always going to be something that is dependent on the screen position. So we need to lead the cloud to a location that will blow up the bomb, and that means leading it to the fire. It's not that confusing. It just requires you to explore. It's very, very manageable, I think. And we've flown through it probably quicker than I expected for something that is a winding puzzle layout. And it does have a clear rate that's about 20%, so, I mean, people will get timeouts from time to time as they solve it. We are about to time out right after the checkpoint, as you can see. Looks like the next key, so this is the clue that tells you who is holding the key. We are going to be looking for a Big Boo, almost certainly having to respawn from the checkpoint, but it looks like we have kind of a boss. And a boss that requires us, I see, to do an on-off interaction that depends on which POW blocks are available. let's grab a spare shoe. We only have a limited amount of spare shoes for... Well, we're going to run out of time, but I see exactly what to do. There is a sequence where you have to look at which of the on-off switches are topped by a POW block rather than a muncher. You follow that sequence, and when you do, you are able to knock down enough POW blocks to ultimately drop the boo. Then you just give it a good old stomp. So yeah, pretty straightforward actually. We just have to look for the POWs that are at the bottom of the stack. Do it as consistently as we can. The bullets would actually allow us to jump up and clear the boos that are in our way if we wanted to do it that way. Oops. Like we would be able to jump on a bullet and then jump on a boo, but the timing is not really working out there, so we're not going to do it that way just yet. So I assume that once we take down all of the plants, we'll have an opportunity to take down Big Boo, who is presumably stacked on top. Okay. So far so good, except losing the boot is bad because I don't think we get a replacement at this point. I think we are in fact completely out of boots. So unfortunately, I think... no, we can reset. Except the boot spawns on a track... Oh, no, that's okay. We just reset the whole fight. No. So, no need to take it down. Did I read that as the Big Skip Squeak test earlier? It's actually the Big Skip Squeak nest in that third submission that came in. Sometimes the chat screen can be a bit hard to see on my side, but okay, there we go. And now the thing about Piranha Fire is that it is something jumpable if you have the boot. No, it's not. What am I thinking of? Oh, with the bone shell. It's jumpable with the bone shell, but not the boot. That's one way in which you can gate things differently between Kuribo's shoe and a dry bone shell. Hey, Safety Man, welcome. As you can see, we had a little bit of a late start today, but not nearly as late as I feared. And I see you're already aware that we did, in fact, finally start up a Discord for such announcements. And, so hopefully that will keep people relatively informed what's going on with my extremely volatile schedule. Okay, one more. We release the boot, then we stomp on it using boot. Let's lead it over. Lead the Big Boo over. Now, I did not really pay attention to where the key is located, but I believe it's directly under the clue that is in the previous room. Because that's what would be consistent, yes, with all of the other keys. Yeah, we are doing alright. So, at least things seem okay at the moment. We'll see. We'll see. Oh, Redox. Redox, you are up next, but I can bump you back a spot in the queue then, and we can wait for you to come back. I'll get through others in the queue in the meantime. So yeah, that was White Noise, the first puzzle uploaded by Saku, whose latest puzzle, if you are into puzzles at all, you must definitely play, because Crawl Space, I think, from a puzzle level perspective, is going to be one of those great classics of Maker 2. Just a wonderful level that was put together, that we managed to feature on our Tuesday to Wednesday late night stream. So, Redox, yeah, just let me know when you do want to be played. In the meantime, I am going to bump you back one spot. So we'll just go next, and we'll go to the next. No, those are not the only ones allowed, Neagle Jeagle. I accept pretty much anything. There are some levels that are maybe not as great for this stream, like the ones that are, you know, about super precision, where you have to dodge every spike and dodge every saw for 0.05% or something. We don't really do that much, but I play pretty much everything else. It's just that I say that we accept puzzles because there are a lot of streamers who don't, and so often we have some people who want to submit puzzles and want to look for the right stream to do that. Safety of man, if you want to do something like that, you can certainly try, although some of the older codes might no longer be valid because of version changes or re-uploads. So, I mean, if you really wanted to put something together that industrious, you're certainly welcome to. I'm thinking of putting together a better indexing system for those anyway, so people know at least when I play big things like their Super Worlds. Awesome Lap, welcome. And, oh, Logcraft plays. Sorry, you can't stay unless you're just changing out your code. And anyway, let's punch in Neagle Jeagle. Did I read this correctly? Yes. Yeah, if it's confusing, I'm going to change the stream title just very slightly to indicate that a little more clearly. I'll just say Puzzles and Worlds also accepted. And we'll eventually find some way of just making that clear to people. But in the meantime, we'll take a look at 40-second speedrun High Blue Sky by Neagle, who is going to rather modestly describe this as a pretty generic new soup speedrun. And we have Mech SMM2 getting way ahead of the 40-second limit with a fairly gentle clear rate, so I guess we don't need to worry too much about tightness of the timer, and we can just enjoy the platforming. Okay. Okay, not the crispest play from me, but we'll have to start this over. Let me just make sure I know what I'm doing here first. Probably just jump and twirl, right? Or... okay. I completely misread that. Jump, 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 jump. I see, okay. Okay, I see. Obviously, we'll need to do much better than that. I see, because that takes care of on-off. Alright, that was just the initial read. No worries about just running out of time there. Obviously, the wall jump, whoops, is going to be a little bit of a skill check on me. But it's nice and early in the level, and we'll just crash against it until it works efficiently. We don't... oh, I see. It's supposed to be triple jump with new soup style. So if you do this accurately, you should in fact get the extra height from the triple jump and not worry about the timer. Triple jump is so rarely used intentionally in Mario Maker that it took me a while to see that's what was going on. But I totally understand it now. We'll run out of time, but let's try to scout ahead. There we go. It is totally triple jump. We'll run out of time, but now we know the method. And slide, yeah. Ah yes, and you just put that clue in as well for the triple jump. Oh, whoops. And we'll do it that way so we don't lose so much time. Yeah, just really need to tap the jump as soon as we land, instead of having all that lag time. And thank you for the follow. Okay. Got trapped a little bit there, but I think the level is pretty gentle in not requiring you to be super, super crisp. We are only at the halfway mark on a timer at this point, but still doing well. Also, you'll notice that there is not a lot that explicitly tries to kill you. We just run through this. And there we are. Definitely lots of room for optimization when it comes to the timer. But yeah, nice to have something simple and relaxed like that, just to get warmed up with learning how to jump again. So thank you for that, Neagle Jeagle. It is, especially this early in the queue, quite acceptable for you to stay and send me more codes if you would like. Usually we do a, let me just check the list here. Yeah, usually we do a sub next, but Redox did ask to be bumped back, so we'll do a double next. And I think Redox has a sub anyway, and it's very easy to schedule in. So yeah, queue is wide open right now, since we are early on. Take a look at Awesome Lamp. Okay, so I suppose this is my choice of level once again, and that you've been very productive lately. Probably in preparation for that world that you've been putting together. Pick a course, any course. Let's just go up the list and continue where we left off. Lots from just the past week alone, I see, so let's make it to the top of Mushroom Mountain. The mountain gets steeper, and getting up gets harder. Let me know if there are any connection issues with the stream. I was looking at that and briefly concerned. Oh, I remember this one, actually. I remember a similar layout. I don't know if this is a revision of something I had previously played. I remember the opening part anyway, because it was continuous with how you had laid out the world, right? But that's okay. As you know, I'm quite happy to play revised editions of things. Now, the thing about blue platforms is that you do need a reset. Acted weird for a second there? Okay, good. As long as we didn't just flat out have a disconnection or some other glitch. Okay. We'll just need to be much crisper about jumping off platforms for once. I mean, that's an easy jump. It's just that I'm being a bit complacent about it. But yeah, as usual, when it comes to blue platform obstacles like that, obviously this is a gentler level that does let you reset. I think maybe the slight concern there is simply that when you get on those blue platforms, usually the next one that you need to get to is actually off camera, and so when you're doing it blindly, you're not always going to know right away whether you're going to be aiming left or right. But yeah, I kind of remember this one. Or at least an earlier version of it. Okay. And yeah, once again, this is the same concern where, you know, if you fail at a blue platform, you reset. And that's a thing that needs to be designed around, I think, with vertical climbs generally. There is kind of a subgenre of levels like this. I think it's just called Getting Over It. Many of them much more punishing than this one. The ones that are kind of like really tight and send you all the way to the bottom of the mountain for being even a pixel off, I find to be probably not that fun. This one, easy to get back in order. Right, it was the one that you wanted to remake, yes. I can see that there was definitely an effort here to make a level that was just on the strength of its platforming without anything like enemies or other things to dodge. At the same time, I think there are some things about it that might feel a little bit empty. Like, obviously the challenge here is just to, you know, make the jumps. But even for content tuned easy, I think occasionally, even an easy level that you might want players to have something to jump on if you know what I mean. Just a Goomba here and there to give them some choice and interactivity. But I mean, as a straight-up climb, that's meant to be just, you know, jump your way up the mountain. It works well enough. Yeah, actually, you're absolutely right. The despawning rules, in fact, changed a little bit when it came to vertical subworlds from what was at launch, but I think you would have been right regardless about them respawning. So, sometimes, as people know, my tech knowledge just kind of goes out the window when I'm in the middle of playing on stream. Yeah, usually if people are not attending, I just kind of remove them and let them re-queue. But Redox is pretty regular here and let me know he was stepping out for lunch, so we'll just get through everybody else in the meantime and get through more of Neagle Jeagle. I'm pretty informal about how I run things here, just to, you know, play through people's levels as best as I can. 20-second speedrun, Rotten Escape. Easy 20-second speedrun should be a piece of cake. Have fun. So yeah, this one has a record that is slightly under 19 seconds, so it is going to be slightly tighter, and probably involving dodging poison mushrooms. Now, I'm kind of the opinion that you don't really need a track mark for every single jump. Like, some things I think you can trust a player on. Obviously, we didn't have to correct on-off state there, and that didn't matter. Yeah, as you can see, I missed one of the on-off switches, and so all I did was just skip the next one. And I think that was probably not intentional. But it's possible, so. Probably is important to watch out for things like that, like when you have alternating switches, in terms of thinking, okay, does this actually make you press anything? But yeah, I think that the diagonal indicators, like, they were good for the new soup level because they were a clue as to the necessity of the triple jump and also the positioning of the triple jump. Here, I don't think it's really necessary to have to track for every jump, because sometimes what that can do is just make things a little too busy to read. And it would, you know, make things actually a little bit tougher to read rather than easier. But I know that I have a difference of opinion with a lot of fast speedrun players when it comes to things like indications, so don't just take my word for it. Anyway, thank you for the submission. Once again, quite welcome to Zenmore. And we'll just get back to Lamp until Redox decides to come back. Yeah, Neagle Jeagle, I mean, you know, we're all trying to work on our level making here, and people are going to have a lot of different attitudes towards things like indications or linearity, depending on what style of player they are. So, I aim to be helpful. Yeah, Some Guy, welcome. Some Guy, you're actually going to be next in the queue after this, unless Redux comes back from lunch, because he did request that I push him back. And so we'll see if you manage to stick around for 100% not a troll level. Thank you for the submission. Let's continue with a slip, a sliding away. Mountain at Night is perfect for sliding. Okay, it is totally perfect for sliding. I did that almost subconsciously. Nice trees, by the way. These snowy trees that are made with good use of the snow-capped mushroom platforms. Snow-capped mushroom caps. Of course, we're going to check every one of these because that's just how I play. Yeah, amazing that the slide, of course, in the night snow theme is enough to kind of still keep you in a sliding state for pretty much across the entire horizontal segment that you see there. And let's see if there's anything up here. I don't think I can reach it, though. Don't see any means to reach it. Oh, okay. There's some bonus levels. Yeah, it's good to have that kind of context. I know that the reason that we're playing these as singletons is A, we've played a lot of the previous stuff, and B, you're still putting the world together. But yeah, there's definitely some kinds of designs like this one where knowing that it is meant to be a bonus really changes your attitude towards it, I think. In that, I think it probably would work much more effectively as a bonus level than just as something totally standalone. Given that it is pretty gentle and is about collecting coins. That's okay. I do think that in this one, the Buzzy Beetle placement is a pretty good way to kind of maintain some interest, in that it's giving you a reason to slide and something satisfying to slide into, which is kind of nice. Like, you want to give the player a reason to enjoy sliding everywhere that doesn't just come down to the coins. Sometimes when I see icicles dangling like that, I start to think of them as clues to, maybe I should check the spot below or something. I mean, clearly here they're just aesthetic. So diving into a pit would have been a terrible idea. But I know that sometimes it can be easy to get into the habit of reading every single element as some kind of deliberate placement that's telling you something. And that's just something that's, on the player, not on the maker here, in terms of like how people read aesthetics and how functional you expect them to be. So anyway, thank you for that. We'll probably be able to do the last one too, given how short the queue is currently. And yeah, we'll see. I think some guy, I don't know if some guy actually is still here. I don't really see you in the chat. Some guy, do you want to check in? Otherwise, we're going to start redoxes. I don't know if you just dropped the code. Sometimes Twitch and Warp World are behind in terms of letting me know who is online. So some guy, please check in. If you don't check in, I'll do redox first. And we'll just get some warm-up on that level. Yeah, there we go. Some guy, thank you. Yeah, I'm trying not to assume that you've just dropped the code. It's just that sometimes Twitch does not display accurately that somebody is here. So thank you for confirming your presence. KXF. KXF is like the first 3 letters of one of my codes as well, so I always recognize that. 100% not a troll level, about 1%. World record of 13 minutes, which tells me that, of course, it had to be done with use of checkpoints. And that nobody has tried to find a single segment route that is more efficient than that. Of course, very few players so far, so that doesn't tell you anything. So we'll see if we can take the title seriously when you tell me that this is 100% not a troll level. With a couple of smiles at the end to keep us company. And I'm gonna pop everything because... Okay. Looks like popping that... Like, that would also make contact with the POW here. That's gonna say hello. That's probably just going to be a trap. No. That's gonna be a trap. But I can probably beat that up. Gotta be very careful about the camera scroll. If I can somehow get a camera scroll to drop that from pipe before making contact. This is probably not the way anyway. Check the other door at some point. There we go. I guess that is probably nothing, although I wasn't doing that accurately. So I'll try that one more time, and then I'll try the standard door. You did tell me this is 100% not a troll level, so maybe I should have just done it the standard way to begin with. Also, just give me a moment to get rid of the spam. I really felt I should have been able to filter that. And yeah, because I thought I'd blocked that as a phrase. But we'll see. I think some of my bot filters and such have been not behaving properly lately. Okay, so let's do that one more time properly when I'm not distracted by chat issues. And okay, Podoboo is just going to drop straight down. I should stop trying that. Let's go with the standard path. Okay, so that's POW, that's Spike Ball. This is death, okay? And you need a mushroom in order to get through the death check. In order to get through the death check, let's let the Spike Ball come down and hit the POW. See if that gives me any kind of clue as to how a mushroom could possibly spawn. There is something clearly to the right of this. This is a scroll stop break. The fact that it is a scroll stop break tells me... yeah, start over. Probably what's going to happen is that if I find some way to get a mushroom, then I come through here, I hit the saw on the other side, I pop back through the store, maybe, and then this breaks open. Not clear at the moment, but I need to see where that mushroom is going to be obtained. Okay, not going to be through here. We know about that trap. I'm just trying to figure out a timing that would allow me to actually get through that pipe successfully. That's pointing down and down. Oh, interesting that when you crouch on the spot, you actually do set off a sound effect that's associated with the cloud. Okay. Drop that guy. Pretty much every time you come up there, though, it's going to drop another one. Wait. That was just off-center. I don't know if that pipe even can be entered because I just have not tapped it accurately yet, ever. No, it can't be. Okay. Now we know that. Ah, Redox, you're back. Okay. Yeah, I just held you back a couple of places, but you are going to be next after this one. Yeah, so far, fair bit of trolling going on here, but no sign of where the mushroom spawn is going to be. Now, we have a limited number of things to interact with anyway. Let's go to this segment. I know this hits the POW. I did not see that the POW is actually going to trigger the mushroom. I don't see that at all. Because I did try that order already, and the thing is there's nothing else to try, right? Like, you try this first, or you do this first. And there's actually nothing else to do. Unless... So you're telling me POW triggers mush. Interesting. Stand still, okay. Oh, you mean there's something that's going to pop up from underneath, okay. Okay, I don't know how I feel about that. That it's positionally dependent in order to work at all. Like that doesn't seem particularly intuitive, but anyway. Thanks for letting me know. Drop down. See what's going on over here. door and something to do with the P. The bomb is going to blow up, though. And if the bomb blows up, then what happens? The munchers are going to drop down, obviously. So if you hit the P, you're just going to die. Unless there's something that managed to prevent that. Such as any kind of block that you could tap to block them. That may just be... Whoops. What's wrong? Okay, so you actually do need that to trigger the POW. I will have to think about that. In terms of how it's set up. Yeah, not really fond of the sort of, like, you must stand on the right thing that's going on here. I just don't think that works particularly well. But, yeah, it's clearly going to be a coin drop from the POW activation. POW activation drops the coin, and Muncher drops on a bomb. Yep. Pretty clear to me what's going on there. So it's telling me something about the door. And that's going to be a bit of a crush. Oh, I see. And then we have a central door. Yep. Okay. Stand there. Down here. Get through the door. And that's just going to be stuck, obviously. Although it's very courteous of you to give me a boo die against. Okay. Yeah. I don't know if there would have been a way to make that behave more reliably. Obviously, it is just a coin that's off-screen, and so... I wonder why the range matters, because the POW activation range... Like... I didn't think that that's how it worked. That your player position would alter that, but... Let me think about the placement of the door there. And oh, I see, because the scroll break was one block over, so you needed the camera to be one block over. Yeah, basically, that problem, I think, is completely solved if you just have everything bumped over one spot. But I'll take a look at that a little more carefully on the next run before I run over to the right side, if I can remember to do that. So we'll just let the fish do its thing. And then we need to jump over that and then get on a vine. Okay. So yeah, you can see, like, the problem of having to stand on the right is completely solved if you just shrink this first screen by one block. Because if the scroll boundary, like if the door is on this tile, and the scroll boundary is on this tile, then POW should not be as camera dependent, because let me take a look at this and see what the block spacing is from the block. Actually, it's only one space over. Maybe that doesn't solve the problem. Yeah, because you come over here, it's 2 blocks out. I'm not exactly sure, actually, when it comes to the logic behind whether the coin that drops on a jump block is going to be in POW range. I'm not totally sure I know it, so... I'm sure as the level designer, you've probably played around with that quite a bit. I see, yeah. No, I get what you're talking about there. If you want to create a consistent way of locking that. Obviously, I needed to jump onto the one tile over here. Right, because you're basically saying that as long as the POW is activated while you're standing not on this column, then you want it to work. Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. It's just that if you're doing that... I mean, I guess something like a one-way panel would work to enforce that, but then that would make it too obvious, wouldn't it? Yeah, basically, if you had something like that would prevent you from breaking the mechanism by going back to the left. Anyway, I totally get what you were going for. I see why you're setting it up like that. That's a good explanation. Okay. Oh, whoops. Have to let it come down first. Hey, Sharknado. Thank you for bringing your Sharknado in all the way from 1909. Okay. Break that open. And thank you for the follow. Our queue is still wide open. Fairly short right now, given that we just started up not too long ago. Okay, gotta be really crisp about this jump here. And then, oh, I see, that's a one-way. Okay, so I actually just need to not worry about Cheep Cheep. I wasn't really watching the Cheep Cheep to see when it becomes safe. Okay. Oh, okay, that's the first time that's happened, because I've never been in the leftmost position, and so I had never actually seen that specific interaction. And, okay, so we really do need to not stand on the left side there when it gets bumped up, because the POW launch, Muncher launch rather, is pretty much instantaneous. Yeah, but the thing about indicators for where to stand is that in a troll level, like, it's specifically designed so that you can't trust indicators, right? So I mean, also because previously I had been standing on the right side, like on the rightmost stack, and that had been pretty much working out. Okay, anyway. Let's get down here. Nope, we forgot about the one-way panel. Yeah, that's fine. Let's just take to death. That was just my mistake. But yeah, you can see how the Cheep Cheep is killed on its way down. I was previously not paying enough attention to that. And Automod doesn't like your level code. Sharknado, let me allow that. I don't know why it did that. Automod has been kind of very glitchy today in that it has not blocked things that are supposed to be blocked. And Sharknado, since you actually did put your code in ahead of AMC Bray, let me just tweak the queue quickly just to reflect that you punched in yours first, okay? And here's a raid. Thank you from Zaydu SMM. Let me give you a quick shout out while I'm doing some queue management anyway. Zaydu SMM, I hope your stream went well over on your side. And let me just do a bit of tweaking on the back end with Warp World while we die repeatedly to bad memory when it comes to the troll. And thank you for all the follows as well. Okay, let's get back into this. I think that's correct now. Let me just put in the list. And Julian, good to see you coming in along with that whole party. Yeah, so Zaydu, I don't know if you were also running viewer levels or something else, but we've just gotten started for the day. It was not originally clear that I could run the stream today, but we managed to get that in order. Okay. This is actually the first troll I've received in quite a while. People have not really been sending me trolls lately, which has been interesting because back when I started out, I was getting trolls all the time. But I guess they come and go. No. Okay, I keep forgetting about that. Little one-way panel buried behind the door. Yeah, troll levels and people with glitchy short-term memories are perhaps not the best mix in the world. But we try. We try. And whoops. No, that's not what I want to do, but that's okay. We'll be back here safely and... we won't be back here safely. Yes. That's actually a bit of a vine check, because we need to wait for the vine to come down. That was an accidental door entry to begin with, so that was sort of an interesting one-way check on that door, actually. That did catch me a little unexpected. Okay, let's just stand still for once. Not die to our own D-pad. And here's progress. Okay, Zaydu, you have a good night. Thank you so much once again for bringing over your party. We'll certainly keep an eye out for your stream as well. Well, I mean, either it's this or it's the other thing, right? You gotta pick one. Oh, I see, there's a mushroom there. And a mushroom is going to be to check over here. Okay, I see. And yeah, Julian, it's been very nice to see how the various 4YMM contributors have been kind of networking with each other and having a new appreciation for each other as level makers and streamers. I think that's been a really nice effect of the project for those of us who are running smaller Mario streams. And also just very good for me as a player in that I've just had lots of content to enjoy. Okay, so there was a mushroom buried there, right? Was that the idea? That we oak? Okay, I need to sit down there, but I needed to not... no, one-way panels below there. That actually is safe. So I get rid of Boom Boom. I grab the mushroom. And then I proceed. Okay. Julian, I think maybe you did. In that we had been around a lot of the same channels anyway. So it's quite possible. But I don't know, because there was a period of a few months last year when I was not active, and I did not start streaming myself until early 2020. So back then, like, if we were in contact, it would be because I was also just submitting to viewer streams. Possibly the same viewer streams. And, okay, 50 coin... Oh, okay. This came in a bit too low. Nice try. That's what the tracks are trying to tell me on the left there, on that little semi-solid chalkboard. And yeah, Tino, good to see you come in as well. And yeah, Tino, I don't know how caught up you are on 4YMM yourself. I did manage to do a nice big play of Week 7 earlier in the week, and that went pretty well. You can probably imagine I am very much in favor of that whole puzzle level that Saku decided to deliver to the rest of us. This is clearly something POW activated. It always seems like a bit of a futile exercise to just try to puzzle out what's going to happen when it's a troll level and the thing that's going to happen may not be the thing that happens, right? So let's say we grab this thing. What's the trap? Okay. It does give you a Shelmet, though, from the activation, so we tap that and get back out to the left. Grab the Shelmet, see what that does. Loop and Snoop, welcome. Thank you for Ascent of Cruller Canyon. Okay, let's dodge that. Yeah, we're still fairly early on in progressing this Trolls. For those of you wondering how long it will take and how long I stay on Trolls, we're fairly early in this one, so we're making progress. Of course, all of these are often a bit of a, kind of like a memory game challenge where you know, repeat the colors that you've pressed already, and so that sometimes gets me into trouble. Okay, that looks decently safe. And no Shelmet. Okay, so we need to rip off the Shelmet before we come in, and then something's going to happen. And then that's a checkpoint that's suspended in midair, which is what it is, I suppose. So yeah, some guy, as I think you probably know from the past. I mean, obviously I am progressing, but if I'm on this for a while, then what I will do is ask you to resubmit for a continuation. It could be on this stream, it could be on a later stream, doesn't really matter. But we'll see, because obviously we are about to hit checkpoint 1, and I am seeing new stuff, so I am going to be staying with this for the time being. But just so we're absolutely clear about the policy here. Yeah, it looks like I want to tap this, and then rip this off. And then there will be some kind of power-up check. You're up because you don't remove that. Okay. Tapping the shell here is going to hit the POW. I feel like I want to jump on top of the POW. Yeah, something was going on up top. I don't know what. Looks like there is going to be some kind of back to CPU1 by the looks of it. Okay. I didn't know if that was going to be a trap given the camera position. Okay. And, okay, so here we are back in CPU1. Let's not touch that yet. Not yet. See what this 10 coin is all about. It seems to drop a whole bunch of stuff, but that we were supposed to stay on the right side and wait. Then let's just take this down to see what's happening. No mushroom? I don't have a mushroom. I don't see what you're fussing about. Oh, I can see. I can probably just drop in. No, I can't. Can I? No mushroom. Well, obviously no mushroom. I feel like I should actually just stand on the right side and wait, though. Yeah, Julian, you know that lurking is always acceptable here. As long as people check in to let me know they are still here when their submissions are up. This is meant to be a lurk-friendly experience. And we need the fire flower from that side. Okay, so now we know. And, okay. Let's just run over. Tap this, stand on the right. And like subway regulations. Oh, okay. It explodes. Yeah, I should have known that because I needed the fire flower anyway. And I should have been paying more attention to the bomb range. That's okay, we'll just stand on this spot here. Grab that. Let that explode. Come down. Tap this. This seems to be some kind of check. Oh, I see. I actually probably don't want to... Yeah. Probably don't want to break everything like that. Let's actually do a bit of squishing first. Okay. I see, okay. So I am supposed to take damage, take advantage of the invincibility frames to drop into the lower level. That much appears to be clear. Big bomb explosion like that. And yeah, we'll let this fire at us. Twice. And then I need to go up pretty much right away then. So that's a drop into somewhere unknown, but it looks like we're probably at the bottom anyway, so we'll just take that. And yeah, I didn't see where the P activation was happening, and so I didn't really pay attention to how we'll play around that, but takes a bit of attentiveness. And hey, Progan, welcome back. And let's slip through. Okay, to the right and up. Now, I don't know if any of these are likely to be some kind of trap. And that was about to tell me something. BR something. I feel like when the P-switch is released, those bricks on top of that pipe, we're going to do something interesting. Just don't know what. And yeah, Program, that's what I was explaining earlier. Somebody was asking me if that meant that I was only taking puzzles. Obviously, I don't only take puzzles. And I'm trying to make that clear somehow, but I do think it's important, given that a lot of people don't play puzzles, that puzzle creators know where they are welcome. Bruh. Okay. That's fine, we just wait for the pipe. You just hit a new Super Expert Endless record. Very nice. Do you mean a world record on a single level, or... Oh, you mean Super Expert Endless in terms of the number of... your personal record for survival, right? Number of levels cleared? Relatedly, don't know if people have checked in on their Ninja times yet. It was actually surprisingly generous for the gold star bar this time around. Because for the longest time I was having trouble getting past like 49 seconds or so and thinking, my goodness, I am nowhere close. And it turned out gold stars were only 47 seconds, and I actually managed to get down to 41 by the end of it on my end. But for a long time I was stuck around 49. Okay, that guy's just going to scare us and give us a bit of a bump. Super Ball Flower... It looks like we were supposed to catch the Super Ball. The fact that I didn't catch the Super Ball seems to be a problem, because this is a bit of a game where we activate the bomb for some reason. Hang on, let's... Should I skip a checkpoint? If I take the checkpoint... Nothing bad should happen, except... Oh, I see. If you take the checkpoint, Super Ball falls on you right away, doesn't it? Why don't we just continue? Oh, look, pick a path. Okay, we have to commit. And... Okay, that's doing something. That's not doing much. Okay. Guess we should probably just take bottom. Yeah, usually with Ninja levels, I find that... I mean, I'm not really a very speedrunning player. Ah, that's interesting. That's not a drop that was seen before. Okay, fine. Usually with Ninja levels, I find that... Like, I'm not that interested in, like, really optimizing every jump in every corner as a speedrunner, but I am interested in finding the strategy and the route. And that... It's very satisfying when I find the route myself and get into something like the top 2% of players. Where you can just kind of do that by routing rather than by execution, and you can still do very, very well. Most of the time that works. This Ninja, that didn't work too well. Because I found that I was actually kind of stumped when it came to how I could improve the approach that I was taking. Well, I need to think about the Super Ball here. I feel like it is a trap. Whoops. Because didn't we see a second Super Ball come down? Yeah. What's that doing for me here? Can I go back? If I go back... What happened? Oh, interesting. So we seem to have kind of exploited that, actually. Let's just tap that to see if the P-switch does anything interesting. Probably not. Super Ball gives you access to the bomb. Bomb would probably blow something up that is 2 spaces out. So for example, if you have an on-off switch that is on the left side of the screen boundary, that would be affected. I don't really want to fool around with the Super Ball thing right now, though. I think I just want to take damage. Ah, we'll grab that, sure. And we'll just, oh, you know what? We have the Super Ball, might as well just do some of this to see what's going on. I feel like this is a bit of a fake out, though, and that the bomb doesn't really matter, but we'll find out in just a moment. Ah, of course it matters. Okay, fine. Okay, so that basically is an anti-softlock game for not being small. That's fine. As far as anti-softlock games go, this one is a lot... Actually, it lets you progress, even. It's a lot more reasonable than what I usually see. So... we know that there's that whole thing that's going on with Thwomp up top. We know there's this route down here. That may or may not be an actual route. POW block, interesting, okay. I think that just blocks you for being slow. But yeah, I haven't done any form of Endless in quite a long time. Like, I haven't played Endless since literally the 1.0 patch last year. But that's because I've always preferred to focus on specific makers or specific types of levels, and that... Whoops, we're too slow, we're too slow. Okay, no, it's possible to beat that. It's clearly possible to beat that. And yeah, Tino, I kind of agree with that when it comes to Aura grinding that night after night, and Aura actually having a really fine talent for a lot of first clears as well. Not first clears, but like one-shots, rather. He one-shots a lot of stuff. Very, very consistent. I want to basically catch him on a retraction, don't I? Okay. Maybe I come down here. Okay. Don't know if he is reachable. Stand here? No, on Y? No, I think I actually just need to beat the anti-softlock game. There clearly is a part of the box that I'm able to hit. I'm just very bad at timing the stuff. Might just start over. Actually, this would probably be a good time. Well, let's see if we can do the anti-softlock here. If I can't, this would be a good time to kind of take a break from this one. I am willing to continue it. We are making progress. But I think it's a good time to probably get through more of the queue. I'll put in one more attempt from the part that we had here, since we did reach checkpoint. But in a troll level, I think the fact that we did reach checkpoint doesn't actually mean that much. Ah, interesting. Muncher. I think that's much too high for me to get through, but okay, so that's a block. And that just crushes you, right? Okay. Interesting wraparound here. Okay. Unless there is something that is like a boo or something that'll come and kill me, I think this is a good time to continue. So, thank you for that, some guy. If you are able to stay around, I do encourage you to resubmit or to try to catch me on a different stream. On the weekends, sometimes we wrap up some unfinished levels from viewer levels as well, except lately I've been covering 4YMM stuff mostly, so I don't know if I'm necessarily doing that, but we'll keep this code in mind. We'll catch you whenever you're able to resubmit it. For those of you who want to keep up with our stream plans, we do have a new Discord channel that a number of you have joined already. so I can actually tell you what's going on when I go live. Majestic Acorn played the escape room earlier with an active chat. Did he actually finish it? Yeah, I got to catch up on Acorn's stream. I've not been there as much as I would like to. Anyway, just to punch in the next code now. It is going to be a sub next, which I believe is just next anyway, which is Redox. Yeah, it seems like the kind of thing that Acorn would also enjoy, and would also have a good community for. So as I punch this in, let me just catch up on the chat. And see if I missed anything particularly critical outside of you folks telling me about how you've been doing in Endless lately, and about the cost of skipping. And yeah, Super Expert, I don't think I really played Super Expert Endless, actually. But then Super Expert, I find that I, at that level, like to spend a lot of attempts figuring things out. And it's very hard to break out of that habit when lives matter again. And, yep. Anyway, let's continue. 2 coins equals a long jump back to the old Redox notation. And a world record from McFixit. I don't believe I saw 1.0 of this one. I think I just missed it. But 2.0 tends to be a pretty significant version bump. As you can tell, I'm always a bit slow on wall jumps. That is a known vulnerability. And we'll just have to fix it. Okay. No, a little bit early on that. I did need to let that stack lower itself first, I think. I guess it is based on... I'm just trying to figure out what kind of timing trigger this is, whether it's positional or timer-based. Given the way that objects are dropping, it looks like there is some kind of global timer, isn't there? But I haven't been following the rhythm closely enough to see if it is. I mean, obviously we don't see any proximity timers like Thwomps. But then that's because they're probably off-screen, so I guess it probably must be Thwomp-based. Yeah, I guess positioning is how you would make this behave consistently anyway, and is how you usually put these together. Yeah, Julian, I don't know how often you've seen Redox's levels, but they are very much about the art of doing this kind of challenge in the 3D world style specifically, in terms of, you know, having a very clear and consistent marking system for speedruns that feel very reasonable to read. Okay, nice full jumps. Nice full jumps. But yeah, I'm looking at this and thinking, yeah, it would need to be positional in order to behave with consistency when you get into your respective columns. Yeah, some jumps I can clearly tighten up. Like, I don't need to spend as much time landing as I do in certain places. Okay, that's nice. Whoops, just overshot that. Hey, Paxman, welcome. Paxman, I don't know if you've had the opportunity to close out the rest of this week's 4YMM since we last spoke. I know you were just starting up on that when I was starting up on that. We did manage to finish on this side. And how about that mole level? Okay. That was definitely a highlight among many highlights. Okay. Nice crisp wall jumps. That's usually the thing I die to. Yeah, it's levels like these, as Redox knows from experience, but some of you might not, that really showed me how laggy my wall jumps tend to be as a player. But yeah, definitely one that's on the easier side, and yet still with a lot to work with in terms of moment-to-moment interactivity. Lots of fun. And you can see just how much improvement can be made with the time on the clock just from having some more precise landings. You can see like 2-star McFixit over there, like totally teaching a lesson to 3-star me when it comes to setting records like that. Great level as always. Let's see who's next. Okay, back to Awesome Lamp. Those who recently came in, Awesome Lamp is currently in the midst of burnishing up a new Super World. We've just been playing a few piecemeal levels, including some of the things that are meant to be bonus stages. I don't know if that's the case for... Climbing Mushroom Mountain Redux. Remake of Climbing Mushroom Mountain, now with Paracoopas, and now perhaps with the extended 30-minute segment where the American soldiers wind up visiting the French plantation. If you know the Redux I'm talking about. But, oh, whoops. Let's not embarrass ourselves that quickly. Yeah, some players are very naturally fast, and I've discovered that especially from watching some of the really Kaizo-style players play my stuff, which is kind of rare, because obviously, you know, it's hard to get airplay from the big streamers like Pooh and Panga and so on. But those of us in 4YMM did see ourselves get played, and when you see your own level in the hands of somebody like Grand Poober, or even some of the smaller streamers that are very speedrun oriented, like, you know, West Second is kind of like this, McFixit, Refreshy, like some of these guys who are, you know, like sub 1,000 follower streamers in some cases, but very fast players. You discover quickly how they gain a lot of time on the normal player, like the median player, without really looking like they're doing it. There's a lot of tiny optimization that is just a habit for them in every jump, and then that's why they have a much easier time with getting a lot of those speed records down, and also just one-shotting a lot of things on first sight, which is, I guess, kind of redundant. One-shotting things at first sight, yeah. But yeah, when you look at fast players play your own levels, you can really tell the difference. Like, you see them get to certain points in a level, and you look at the clock, and you think, how are you there already? And it's not even like they're trying to speedrun when they're doing it, it's just that that's how they naturally play. And Aura's kind of like that as well. Which is why, you know, we were talking earlier about Aura playing with no skips and how, like, if he gets stuck on something, it is usually because it is a momentum killer, like a precision dodge, or something to that effect. But for levels where you can just be fast, my goodness, they're so fast. Anyway, well, let's see if we can fly. Yes, we can. Oh, nothing up there. I have to say, though, with the cape and with this kind of opening a strip like that, I was kind of hoping for something like a 50 coin or something tucked away up there. It's sort of interesting to have this level as one where the cape is just a bit of an accessory of a power-up. It is, of course, meant for a bit of an easier traditional world, and you can tell the tuning was done accordingly. And yeah, I think that was pretty reasonable. So, thank you for that, Awesome Lamp. I know I didn't really talk too much about the level directly, but I think it was pretty clean layout in general, with just enough the red Koopas to keep a medium difficulty player company. And let me see what's going on currently with the queue. Okay, looks like we just go down with next. Sharknado, you will be next. According to my calculations. And thank you for waiting so patiently. But yeah, Awesome Lamp, it seems like you're doing enough tweaking with your Super World that you might as well tweak everything you want before you start locking it in a more finished state. And yeah, no, I recognize that that was a remake because of the way I did flow through that world originally as a mountain, where you could see yourself kind of traversing different angles within a shared environment or an appearance of a shared environment. Okay, here's Yoshi Goes to Driving School. You thought he looks funny in a clown car. Okay, got about 50% in this. Let's hope Yoshi is a better driver than I am. And we'll just... Oh, I see. Okay, so Mario is going to be the driving instructor. And I can see what you mean by Yoshi looking funny when he's just kind of standing still and staring at the player and breaking the fourth wall. And just kind of staring into your soul. Your soul. I feel like we need to do something to position him. Oh, no, there we go. Of course, that's just a reset door for when this fails, but we'll just position. It is a level that I think... I can tell that you're deliberately slowing down the player's progress by design to prevent despawning issues. That it has, like... It feels like I have to really deliberately go slow and kind of walk Yoshi over bit by bit. And I know the intention there is probably because you would have despawning issues otherwise. Like even here, if I ran way to right, that would likely cause some kind of problem. But yeah, I mean, I know it's meant to be an easy level, and I think some players might really totally hate the pace. Also, one slot target here for the bomb I think maybe is a little bit tight. Like 2 slot targets for the big bomb is probably much better. But it's more that, you know, like when do you have to wait for things to happen. And the other thing is that if you take a POW, you can obviously kill the bomb outright. And that's a bit of an issue. Or am I just missing something? I know he can go through 2 tiles. It's something that's difficult when you are the pilot, that it is theoretically possible with... Well, I mean, it's always been theoretically possible, just really fussy when you are yourself going to be the pilot. It's definitely a risk that the POW would kill the bomb, and that you would need to do a complete reset. But let's see what we can do. Obviously, you are telling me that the key is stored inside the jump block, and because of that, we'll just need to have Yoshi do a bit of a controlled landing. Can he land? Can he land? Yep. And through we go. Yeah, I mean, it's something where you can tell that it is a level that's made to look kind of cute. And it is something meant for easy, which, if you didn't know Sharknado, Julian is kind of an expert on how to design for easy. Like, he's specifically somebody who really does think very hard about, you know, 50 to 70% levels. And how to make them very invigorating, so I think he's probably more of an authority on this stuff than I am. But you're kind of right that the animation, or the sprite anyway, of Yoshi looking out and staring directly at you in the face is kind of entertaining, and it feels like it's something that could be used for a more substantial level at some point, as something that takes the concept here as a bit of a prototype. Anyway, it's still, you know, easy content that gives an easy level player something to do interactively. It's just that there are 1 or 2 spots like the Bob-omb where it feels like you just kind of have to wait for the right cycle. But other than that, thank you, Sharknado. And Dustin, you might want to check that your code has a 0 rather than an O, or is it the other way around? I know one of them is blocked. Yeah, because the sort of O and I confusions and such in Nintendo's codes should be blocked on the keyboard, such that there's no ambiguity. My impression, and we can check on the keyboard, is that your code is supposed to be a 0, so please try again. And in the meantime, we'll, there's no way it's supposed to be an O, because you can't enter O. Like, you can't enter O. It must be 0. There are no O's except Cheerios and SpaghettiOs. A lot of O-no's. And, Jackie O's. Jacqueline Onassis's. Onassi? Onassis? Yeah, anyway. Let's... try punching that into the queue yourself just so the bot identifies you properly. Now, did I actually punch in next? I don't think I did. Sorry about the delay. Let me punch in the next code. We have AMC Bray, I think was here. AMC Bray sometimes does drop and go, but I can't always tell. So AMC Bray, you have a moment to check in, otherwise we will head on to Loop and Snoop. Hey, Loop and Snoop, welcome. I know you've been running some building streams lately. I don't know if this is what you've been working on or if it's something else. Burkowski, welcome. Ascent of Cruller Canyon. Never turn your back on the sweet-smelling breeze of Cruller Canyon. Yeah, because oh, this is from the Loop and Swoop account. Unless you just changed your name something. I know you run a couple of different alt accounts, including the Japanese troll account. I also know that there are 2 of you, and that Loop and Snoop are 2 people that are conjoined. But let's take a look at this one. Oh, you ran out of space on your main. Ran out of space. Oh, not on your upload slots, but probably in your maker slots, right? Like in the core spot. Because I don't think you had 100 uploads. But I could definitely see why you would have that many prototypes just sitting around in the bank. Yeah, core spot totally full, yeah. Anyway, TD, TJ, I take it that's Team Donut and Team Jamp, not Tower Defense and... trying to think of... The Eyes of TJ Ecclethorpe or something? I don't know. Whatever it was in Great Gatsby. You know, the big advertisement with the glasses that was on the original cover of The Great Gatsby. I think that was a TJ. Anyway, so we have to deal with an on-off switch. And that is just going to show us what the later switch progression is going to be. No right. Okay, so it is a boo-facing mechanic. Yes, it's very obviously a don't look right mechanic. The don't look right mechanic is going to work here because this is a wind level, and don't look in... Yeah, don't look right basically works because Desert Wind allows you to travel in both directions. Anyway, which is a pretty good use of Desert Wind, which I think was probably the point. Okay. think we get the concept. It's just fixing some terrible execution. And yeah, Gronkowski, we pretty much did battle with the Kurgan escape room for a full week. I caused him quite a lot of work when it came to re-uploads because of all of the methods I discovered to get around his intended solutions. So I hope you've been enjoying that as a spectator. He did tell me that Majestic Acorn was playing it. But yeah, I might as well tell you because it no longer spoils the current version. I basically skipped most of the clues in the level by solving it with cryptanalysis. So, solving it by deduction, shall we say. And the sort of anti-cheese, or rather anti-me solution that Program decided to put in the latest revisions, which we walked through on one of my streams earlier this week, was actually rather elegant. It annoyed me, but it was elegant. Kind of annoyed me that it was set up to block me specifically, but it was legitimately well played. Anyway, let's actually focus on the donuts and the jamps here. TD and TJ. Somebody who has Google at their fingertips can verify for me whether I actually got the name right, that it is TJ Ecclethorpe, not like Macklethorpe or something. It's been a while since I've looked at my F. Scott Fitzgerald, which is mostly relevant to Nintendo players because, of course, Zelda was named after his wife, the writer Zelda Fitzgerald. And that's actually true, by the way. Zelda was, in fact, named after Zelda Fitzgerald. Ground Pound. That's what it's telling me. Let's pay attention. Let's pay better attention. Whoops. Okay. No. Sometimes I just do that by impulse, even though it's clearly wrong. It's okay, let's reset the room. Yeah, Dustin, just remove by itself is fine. You don't need to type the code when you type remove. No, actually, you should not type remove, you should type leave. Type ! Leave by itself. I know it's a bit confusing, but remove is basically my command and leave is your command. And maybe I should change that so it's more consistent or more obvious to people. Okay, Crystal Gaming, good that the sound actually works. Sometimes when game sounds cut out, it is on my end because of processor issues. And so I'm glad to know that it was just your headphones and not my problem. Okay, let's navigate this carefully. Yeah, Loop, I actually think the intro room works fine, tutorial-wise. Whoops. That was awfully dangerous. Let's not do that way. Let's do it this way. I think it works fine. I mean, people who know how to recognize a don't look setup will be able to come back to that room right away and see, oh look, it's a don't look setup. Don't look right setup. People who don't recognize it, I mean, there are only so many messages they will be able to get from the big no and the big arrow to the right until they just have that idea drummed into their head. No, I need to ground pound, obviously. It's just that I wasn't really getting enough height to get the ground pound going. There we go. And also, I need to get ahead of the Wiggler a little bit. I need to get a little bit on the left and overshoot in order to get the ground pound going. Also, jumping repeatedly on donut blocks to save myself does not work the way I think it does, given the momentum alterations going on here. As I think I noted with Boryutso's level for YMM, which was also based on New Soup and Desert Wind, the constancy of the Desert Wind in this style actually does make it a viable mechanic in ways that I think are not explored enough. It doesn't, of course, need to be something like a don't look right setup, but I think it works very well with a don't look right setup. And I say that as someone who basically finds most don't look setups to be... Like, sometimes they're very obviously stuff where, you know, people watched deceived videos and just wanted to imitate, like, don't jump, or don't do this, or don't do that, on his list of things that you don't do. And they forget to actually do the level design, you know, but... So to actually have a don't look concept that is in fact doing something for the level is kind of, shall we say, refreshing. Okay, let's just be pushed down here. Whoops. Also having the generous landing zones for resets is nice. I think, given the fussiness of this mechanic for a lot of players, that having good reset opportunities is pretty important. We can see that this is a combined reset zone for 3 different landing points, and that all of them require you to restart. Yeah, Loop, I think I have played one of your previous ones. I do kind of remember that. Okay, not a great bounce there. Let's just come back. Metal Buckle 4561. Welcome. Thank you for the submission. Thank you for the submission of Monty Mole's Shifty Platforming. I should get back to paying attention to the current Shifty Platforming. Oh, higher jump, higher jump. Push me down. There we go. Now, the interesting thing is that, as with a lot of scrolling-based concepts, that... Oh, thank you for the host, by the way. As with a lot of auto-scroll-like concepts, you know, scrolling-based concepts, the nice thing is when you get the sense that you are allowed to catch up a bit and recover your position if you start falling behind. And that's what this level kind of does because of the way that the Desert Wind outpaces the track speed. Because the Desert Wind is slightly higher, or faster rather, the tracks, if you find that you're kind of struggling with being on the leftmost donut block, for instance, you can recover your position and get back to center. If you're too far to the right, you can recover your position, obviously, by jumping around and getting back to the center, right to left. And so that's something that I think works nicely about this, is that, you know, the donut blocks keep you on your toes in a very literal sense, but that, whoops, ground pound, ground pound. Okay, I'm gonna just toggle that just to see what's going on here. One up there. Just play this standard just to see what I'm dealing with and scout ahead. Just gonna see. Assume that we're gonna have some kind of flag block using on-off. Checkpoint up there. Okay, I see. Let's reset the whole thing. Okay. Big clear no. Don't look right. But yeah, it's kind of nice that you have some control over your pacing, although of course it's risky to do so because of the way that the donut blocks will collapse as they are designed to do. Anyway, so we have a couple of them dropping off. I mean, they are loaded onto the track that way, obviously for the sake of spacing. You can really have them behave as one continuous platform. Yeah, that's what I enjoyed about track tech as well. I was playing with it, is that as the level designer, you actually end up worrying much less about things like despawning bugs, or just the huge amount of breakage that generally happens when the player has full camera control. I mean, as frustrated as some players can be with things like auto-scroll and with track-based elements, from a maker's perspective, they are just so much less of a headache when you're building anything even remotely complex. Now, the corollary to that is that, like, when you build something that feels very controlled, but which does give the player a lot of freedom with pacing, like if you kind of have something that is not scroll-based and... Oh, I see. Okay, I was completely misreading that the whole time. That the ground pound is there for pacing reasons, yeah. Okay, this is much easier than I thought it would be. But yeah, I have a lot of respect for level stats. Still manage to be consistent even when they're using elements or using camera positionings that look like they would break easily. But in lieu of that, we're going to use tracks, and we're going to have plenty of them to go around. You can explain to me a little more about how the movement works with the wind. Yeah, it looks like when I'm on a surface versus when I'm in midair, that behaves differently. That controlling whether I want to take the risk of staying on the surface is something that does make a difference. I don't know if that's the thing that you're referring to, or if you are trying to talk about something a bit more nuanced and complex. But I do know that the decision of staying on the ground or not staying on the ground is one that matters. Yeah. Building momentum requires ground. Yeah, that's a much more elegant way of putting it. And whoops. One other thing to it, yeah, I'd be happy to hear about it at the end, if you want to save it. I mean, obviously, for the sake of playtesting, you do want to see how I'm reading this, and obviously I can't wall jump as well, because wall jump will change my facing direction. Very interesting how this is an example of a new soup level that effectively kind of disables the wall jump. In most circumstances, from what I can see. Okay. We'll get it, just takes practice. I feel like I should just take this side. Yeah, that's much saner, actually. As long as I get out of that gracefully at the end. Yeah, I mean, you know, don't look right or don't look left, essentially. Just remove wall jumps from consideration, which I think works out very well, just in terms of, like, this being a concept that sort of de-cheeses itself. Not that it helps us with the 30 coin. Kind of interesting to think about how those optional coins are obtainable otherwise. I mean, obviously, we just obtained it with a reset here. But... Also, I have not really been using the twirl for repositioning, but then that's because I've got so much else going on positionally that I think I just don't want to deal with it. Ground pound, I was trying to figure out where the ground pound is supposed to be. I assume it was supposed to be on top of the Wiggler, as with the first ground pound we saw in this level. It took me a moment to think about, like, why would that be required? Because it looked like a standard bounce on a Wiggler would be enough to get me on top of the donut blocks. But then I'm remembering that the ground pound and a Wiggler in the first segment was designed anyway, not because of the height, but because of the momentum cut. And that I should be thinking of it mainly as a momentum cut. Thank you, Grekowski, for Bank Heist. Looking forward to that. Don't think I played that. So. But then there are a huge pile of Grekowski levels that I get through. Okay. Try to fix up that corner. Yeah, I feel like I should be twirling more. I am noticing that. But I think I'm just being overly cautious with some of my positioning here. Okay, no. That was clearly not the right time for it. I think the ground pound is supposed to reposition you by cutting momentum and landing you dead center, such that you can bounce repeatedly on top of the wiggler until the donut blocks are ready. That's how I'm understanding it, in terms of the purpose of the ground pound. That's what I think is going on. And I seem to have gotten up there much earlier than previous attempts anyway. Obviously, I need to follow the arrows because you do need to anticipate the wind when you do the ground pound by overshooting by a tile before you do it. Whoops. We are going to have a timeout at CP2, I think. That's okay, that's just the price of learning this. Okay. And yeah, that's just something we'll have to retry. But we get it. I can definitely see how this is something that, like, if you just have good control in a very specific pattern you have in mind, it does look very controlled and consistent. It's just that you have to really understand what's going on with things like the ground pound positioning and being able to make good estimates around that. Okay, here we go again for another. For 20 seconds, I only just realized that. Okay. Disabling wind would make this level impossible. Well, if you're talking about retaining the don't look setup, then yes, of course. I don't know if you mean that in terms of taking out both the wind and the don't look right. It's obviously not doable because of the nature of the don't look right, but if you're talking about it in terms of... I mean, I think you would need to have that still, right? Because that's what takes out the wall jump. Whoops. Yeah, disabling both, I mean, you just wall jump your way up and that's over. But I think it was very obvious to me from the first room that understanding the wind is what is 100% required in order to deal with the don't look right setup in the first place. Okay. Yeah, Mr. Laser, it is not a moment where you should be asking yourself, why doesn't he just wall jump his way up? And why don't you just kind of run around and play smoothly? No, it's because I can't look right. And the wind is mandatory for all rightward movements. Welcome back, by the way. And thank you, Paxman, for your maker code. Okay. Let's slip and slide. And here we go. Okay. Understanding the ground pound positioning. Oh. Okay. We need to fix that. There was one attempt where I think my first time I saw that, I actually did manage to survive long enough to be still kind of on top of the wiggler by the time the donut blocks came around. But I think by that point I had already blown the don't look right. So we'll just tread carefully. And, yep, here we go. Don't want to do even any accidental wall jumps, because wall jumps trigger the facing logic right away. Oh, whoops. Yeah, no, I was going too early to the Wiggler, actually. I should be delaying ground pound onto Wiggler, so I do have a good landing zone right away on the first cycle. When I do that ground pound, that's going to send me left to right. Yeah, because I need to start the ground pound, initiate it just a little left Wiggler, but then doing so is going to project me to the right, and so I need to make sure the landing zone is available before that happens. That's going to require me to stay on the middle track platform slightly longer. So, alternatively, I can remember how to twirl. That would solve a lot of problems. Yeah, particularly when it comes to correcting my position. Okay, that was almost right. It's just that I missed the second pound that was second pound that was almost attempting to, well, you know what it was I was doing, trying to get into the middle platform once again when it swings back to the center from the right side wall. Yeah. Really does test your understanding of what's going on. And also the ability of your thumb to handle the left side input on your D-pad. That's getting a workout, I can tell you that. Nope. Oh, I don't know how I swapped directions there. I did not press right. Maybe I accidentally input a down diagonal in my attempt to get that wall jump down. Almost merciful to take that death there so we don't need to lose an attempt to timeout. Okay, round we go. Oops. And yeah, let's just do it until it clicks. Oh, whoops. Okay. Up we go. Up we go. Let's let the wind slide me around a little bit. When the wind pushes me, I don't stay on the donut blocks long enough to deactivate them. That's something I should take advantage of because it means the safety zones are more generous than I give them credit for. As you can see here, so we finally make our way across, I think. Okay, that would have been a bad time to face right. And of course, this is just a challenge for the top of the flagpole. You don't need to go for it, but we spent the whole level practicing doing that, and it would have been a shame to compromise our principles all the way at the end. So yeah, definitely a big difficulty bump after CP2, but then I think that's going to happen to some extent when you do need the early material to be a training zone. And still a very high clear percentage just because a lot of the difficulty is going to come from gentle resets from falling back into your safety nets. So let's mark that as a win. Take a look at the list. Okay, Dustin. Dustin, I think, tried to leave the queue or replace the code. I don't know, but if you want to place the queue, place the entry in the queue, do let me know. I don't even know if Dustin is here. I think Dustin left. And Dustin actually did try to leave gracefully, but used the wrong command. So why don't we actually just head out. One thing I didn't exploit fully is that ground pound also makes me move right. Yeah, because I was only doing that where it was marked on the wigglers. I was not using that generally, and that's because I find that the delay that's introduced by getting into the ground pound is something that at the back of my mind, I'm always concerned will throw me off when it comes to something timing dependent. So I think I tend to underuse ground pounds when it comes to time dependent things like that. With wind, you need ground to gain momentum, but the other way is to ground pound. Yes, and I can kind of tell that you were trying to teach that with the Wiggler bounce. But it's not something that when I was looking at the level, I was thinking of applying it every moment. But yeah, I wonder if something, you know, even much more devilishly difficult than this one, not that I'm saying it's a good idea, would perhaps make much more concentrated use of that. In a setup that is not about donut blocks, for example, but is very much about rightward momentum while facing left. So that's one possibility to keep in mind. In the meantime, let's see Metal Buckle, what you have in store. If Metal Buckle is here, please check in, because I don't know if Warp World or Twitch are indicating your presence accurately. And yeah, Twitch's indicator for who's in chat has lately been very, very buggy. Metal Buckle, please check in. If not, I'll pop you out of there. And if I am doing this in error, please let me know. Yeah, Loop and Snoop, I agree with that. That, you know, even this one already is something that was furnished with a tutorial zone, and it is still hard even when you know how it works. But I think that's true of a lot of momentum-based mechanics in general in Mario Maker, is that there's a lot of stuff where people will just kind of impatiently write it off as, oh, this is just jank. When it actually is something systematic, if you have the right kind of level to show off how consistently controlled it can be. And often, I think you have a lot of people not develop the patience to get to that. Bank heist, crack the vault, grab the cash, get out alive. For help, seek salvation, and you see a helicopter at the start. This is already reminding me of a lot of stuff I saw in Maker 1 that had a very similar theme, like get in and out in the helicopter. I remember that kind of decoration vividly from Maker 1, often involving Wario as the bank heist costume, but in lieu of that, we'll just break the bank as Mario. Very high clear rate, but we'll see how we're going to do this as we note the clear condition to grab 250 coins. Finally, it's a relief to be able to hit the right side of the D-pad once more. Looks like... Are we robbing a hospital, or is this just a helipad? I think it's just a helipad. Anything on top of the helipad? Nope, just the rotors. Okay. Aha, okay, so here's the goal right here. With clear condition levels, I always kind of like it when you see the goal right away to kind of give you a reminder. And the structure seems to be that we'll go through the pipe. But I'll just scout around anyway. We'll take note of this little picture clue here. That seems to connect POW jump / note block to shaded note block. Key and coin. 250 coins, okay. Oh, wait, no. Actually, both pipes are accessible. Let's, try them both. Nope, that's not it. Try the other one.
I just want to see. There we go. In the helicopter. And then we're going to do our little power drop. That's a nice little drop. Kind of rappelling it down to rope safely instead of just going down with a parachute. But we'll take it down here. And yeah, actually, Krakowski, since you were mentioning that you were watching Majestic Acorn play Progan's level, I was actually just telling Progan the other day about how you had that art gallery escape level that had a bunch of recognizable artwork, like Munch's The Scream at the very end with the Scream effect. Okay, let's check out this gallery here. There's a lot of space we haven't checked here yet. But yeah, so I'm not surprised that there's a lot of detail put into the aesthetics that we should be paying attention to. Do I need a mole? Not yet, but we'll see what that's about. Okay. Snake blocks that are not activated, but may be here to preserve global ground for some reason. Or no, to push to POW, obviously, to push to POW. Push to POW one step at a time. Let's hit the knob of the snake block. Do that. The knob of this snake block. And then what do we do next? We can do a bit of additional pushing. That is going to elevate that, send that down, and then we push from right to left. Yes. Okay. But then I need to beat this, don't I? Because then I can actually grab it before it comes over. Oh, no, I was expecting a snake block to do something different there. That was incorrect. Let me rethink this entire sequence. Yeah, because I was hoping for a POW push, but then I didn't actually see the progress of that snake block then. So let's get a reset door. See what this is about. So yeah, send a POW down. Send a POW down. So what was this pathway again? Let me check that. Okay, there's a certain rearrangement that's going to go here. Yes, okay. Now we can send a POW down all the way without it being suspended on the seesaw. And yeah, that's going to drop. Or is it? No, that's not what I want. Okay, let's rethink this. Right, because if the POW drops first, and then you drop the blaster on the right side. Okay, so there is going to be an order. Let me take a look. Also, I should have been thinking back to that clue in the intro room in terms of what the key to coin progression is. This is, after all, a bank heist. So yeah, send a POW down to the right, send a POW down to the left. POW lands on bullet blasters. Let's lower the blasters here first. No, not what I wanted. Not what I wanted. Send that down. Next thing we do is... That's not exactly what I was going for, but we'll send that down to drop it on the seesaw. And that's going to allow the POW to drop towards that blaster. And then we need to think about how to potentially acquire it from there. But that's because I already spent this block unnecessarily. So that's a bit of an issue. I think I have the right idea, and that bottom left has to come before bottom right in order to get this unlocking sequence work. Now, how from there does the POW become accessible? That's Let's try this again without accidentally triggering the middle block first this time, because that might give us something useful to look at. Ah, okay. POW is going to be moved up a slot. Nope, that's wrong then. That's wrong. So yeah, lockpicking puzzle. Certainly something we can appreciate. So we know that there's the seesaw that's kind of buried down low. The question that I need to think about is, where do we expect the POW to pop out if we follow the sequence of it being pushed to the right and then to the left? Because, yeah, that's going to drop. You have to watch very carefully. On the other hand, let me just track the progress of the snake block again, just to observe it properly. Yeah, the snake block actually does stop there, regardless of whether there is a platform on the second row. So, don't want to do that yet. I'm going to drop down there. Going to go left. So we need to work out the seesaw logic. Originally, I was thinking bottom left followed by bottom right. Bottom right first does what to the seesaw? Let's see. Okay, it's going to drop like that. Open up. And then it's going to... When I move these guys, it's just going to drop everything. I don't think I understand what a jump block there is for yet, except I think the POW is supposed to hit it. I'm thinking too hard about having the POW come out somehow and being able to be grabbed when the actual destination is to get the POW to hit the note block, and we know that because of the initial clue. POW hits note block and it gives us a key. So we need to somehow drop it into the center of the locking chamber. It's probably not going to happen with the seesaw in its current position. Yeah, I understand what the objective is. Explicit 200, how long am I going to be streaming? Not sure at this point. We started a little bit late today. Not as late as I feared. I'll probably be closing the queue by the end of the current hour, depending on how we're doing for submissions. But yeah, we see some buildings. We never actually checked this room here. 3 stars. Ah, this is something like a clue room, where, yeah, it's telling you that what you want to do is probably not that. Yeah. Right, because you move the POW. Yeah, it's telling you that you need probably multiple keys, even. It's not even a clue room. I think it might actually just give you a key and be one of many keys. Oh no, it gives you a coin that's necessary for the clear condition. That's also important. Now we just need to do that with 250 other blocks, 249 other blocks, and we'll be set. Let me just check around to see what else is going on. All the power cabling. Here's the church by the look of it. Yeah, here's the altar. Going to make a human sacrifice here. Or at least deliver a lecture about puzzle solving. Looks like this is something spawn blocked, like, you know, we're going to come back here with a state switch on the on-off, and then a dry bones is going to rise from the dead. Okay. Let's get back in here and actually pick the lock. So this is ultimately what we want. You know that there is going to be some kind of on-off switch. Oh, I guess this guy is just a security desk. Look at his little coronavirus face shield there that has been recently installed. Actually, this is an older level, so right? So I guess this would not have been that recently installed. given that it was a level from January, I believe. Anyway, so we want a locking sequence that allows me to send the POW down. One thing that I have not taken advantage of yet is how to use the Tanuki suit, if there is anything that is usable. Oh, except that's good for exiting back out. Up to the helicopter. That's my understanding, because we need to get through the helicopter to get back to the main world for the gold screen. Okay, so Seesaw. It's going to release that. So yeah, we need a certain order. I feel like this is something that will work independently of everything else. We don't want to tap the other thing until we're ready to drop that POW. So if I do an initial push like this, then what I do is a push like this. And then I raise the... Oh, wait a minute. Wait, no. That's out of order. I do need to start launching it. The POW is going to drop. It's going to drop. And then how do I make it? I mean, there's a finite number of orders that are even valid here. We know that this must always, therefore, come before this. It's sort of being able to, you know, process the Seesaw logic when it's not on screen, and when I also need to think about how the blasters on the left are being shifted. I think that's the kind of trick to it, in terms of, like, this order, this guy versus this guy. That order, in terms of how it affects the Seesaw interaction on the left side, is the one thing that I'm not very clear on right now. You put leaves in there because you didn't realize you could put one up blasters. Yeah, I guess because you would want objects that apply no weight whatsoever and never interfere with the Seesaw, right? That would be the rationale behind that. Okay. So let's say we push this first. If anything here is time dependent like that. Drop. Now that's pretty much the same kind of situation we were in before. Like, I want... Yeah, because I want the POW to land on this level, and then I want to bring it over to the right side and have it slide down the Seesaw onto the jump block down there. Okay. Anyway. We know this is not going to be first, because it pushes the POW into the wrong position. We know this guy probably has to be first. But then... let's leave this. Let's leave this, because then when we punch the right side here, which we don't really want to do that way because it'll block things. Okay. No, that's not really going to be correct. Why don't we... I'm thinking too much about using the POW as something that's going to slide down left to right. And I believe that still has to be the case. Let me just get back into this, and... I mean, obviously this attempt is blown, but... I'm trying to figure out what the Seesaw logic will be. I think I get it. Okay, same idea. It's gonna be this guy first. Actually, no, I want to load the POW first. Load the POW first. That's something we have not done in a while, which I believe to be necessary. So now we slide some of this stuff over. Now it's going to drop safely. Now we lift everything using this. Should apply enough weight with 2 blasters. And it doesn't. But when I lift the POW, the remaining snake block, that will lift the weight off the seesaw, yet drop the POW back down. It's going to lift, and it's going to drop back down, which does nothing. Yeah, the fact that we have preloaded it with POW weight is creating an issue. Okay, we're going to timeout. So I need to approach this much more systematically, actually. I have not really been keeping very good track of the interdependence between the combinations. So it is one where being a little more systematic may be in order. Now, is this an at least 250? Yes, this is an at least 250, so we don't necessarily need the tutorial coin. We'll find out when we actually execute the bank heist. I completely failed to acknowledge, by the way, earlier the submission from Explicit as well as Brackinator, I think. Or Mr. Lacer and Brackinator, Stone Spin 2, and Link vs. Thwomp Shell Keep. Thank you for all of those. Obviously, we might be a bit longer in the queue just from solving the puzzle. But hang tight, we'll get to you soon. Okay, push the POW to the right. That pushes the POW to the left. This... Yeah, sometimes I have a very poor memory for the relative weights of objects on seesaws. Like, it's something that is very clear and also kind of distance dependent when it comes to how they are placed relative to the fulcrum. But sometimes I just lose track of what the relative weights are going to be. So we know this is not going to be first. No, this is not going to be first. There may be some sequences that are kind of more timing dependent. And that's something that I have not played with yet. Okay. Drop this. We do need a landing platform like that for the POW, or do we? No, we don't. Because... yeah, if I get rid of these guys now... No, then the POW drops down to the 3rd row from the bottom. But what I want to do then is I want the POW to be caught by the seesaw. So... way to do that is... yeah, I want to drop these blasters onto the lower level, but I want the POW to be caught by the seesaw. The way to do that is this. This first, for sure. And then... we don't want to send that up yet because it's going to push the POW up top. Pushing the POW down now is going to drop it into the abyss, which is... okay, that's wrong then. I know what I'm aiming for. I just don't have the order down correctly. How to right. How to the left. Let's try to get an evenly balanced... We want to get an evenly balanced seesaw followed by additional weight on the right side that gets it to slide down. Like, that's the order. How do we do that? It is going to be something that allows the blasters to drop through, not the POW. Not going to be this first. Not going to be this first only because the POW was still in place. So drop that over there. Drop this guy. Okay, now I think we are in business. Because if I kill this, yeah, drop the POW into that slot right now. And I want to do that slide down as soon as I'm able to do so. Like, will it... Yes, there we go. Now we have that set up. Okay, that took me entirely too long. Considering that understanding the snake block push on POW, instead of thinking about it as dropping in from above on a seesaw, which I don't think would have worked anyway, which was puzzling me a bit, is something that is the right approach. Okay, we picked the lock. That was maybe a little too brute forced for comfort. Let's rob the bank and get out. Not really brute forced, but like basically there were certain contradictions in there we needed to sort out first. I know we only need 250, but we're going to be exhaustive and we are going to get a little more out of that. Also, because now that we have tripped all the security alerts, we have to figure out a way to get out with the on-off state altered. Obviously, I could just fly, but instead of doing that, we're going to be thorough and we're going to grab one last coin. As we can. And yeah, look at that. This room even shows you how it's done. Yeah, sorry, you can't stay for that, Mr. Laser. No, we've been maybe working a little bit slowly today, so I'm hoping to catch you next time. Either on your stream or on mine. Mr. Laser, we do in fact have a Discord now if you want to... I think I might have told you that already, but we do in fact have a Discord now to just keep you posted about all the last-minute changes in my schedule that seem to happen all the time. Was that a star that came down? Okay, no, I think that was just background. Anyway, we solved it. Could have gone more smoothly, perhaps, but we got it done. We got it done. So, that's another lock picked. And thank you for the GGs. Yeah, I can definitely tell where the high clear rate is coming from. I think we might have lowered it. Mark that as a win. Let's see what's going on with the current list. Oh, the church. Oh, the church. No, we have to see it. We have to see it. Sorry. We need to witness the resurrection. This is unacceptable. Not gonna leave this job undone. Okay. Wait. church. Hang on. Right, because people replay this to redo it for the solution to get over to the church and see what's going on there. I mean, we have the security screening as before. And, okay. This is last. We know that. This is... no. Wrong. Wrong. We knew how to fix that. Okay. Okay. I believe that's correct. Yep. And you see, very simple once you just visualize it. It's just that you have a lot of interdependent parts to look at, as well as snake blocks that sometimes will go in directions that are unexpected at first. And so it's one of those things where, you know, you come back to this and you know the solution and you think, why did I ever have trouble with this? Because when you can visualize the pathway, it just becomes extremely clear. But until you visualize the pathway, it does look like one big clump. Yeah, Julian, thank you for dropping by and keeping us company all this time. Oh, a Twister. Raising you to the heavens. And what does that do for you? 1, 2... Oh, it's a hint room. But then it's a hint room that's only activated once you have... Yeah, I mean, it gives you the solution. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But it's a hint room that's... As far as I can tell, is only activated once you already have toggled the switch, right? So... When I'm in a lockpick room for 5 seconds, the on-off triggers. Oh, okay. I was wondering where that was coming from. I thought it was... Yeah, I didn't even pay attention to that and pop out and check again, because I was thinking, oh, here's a puzzle. We're going to stick with it until it's solved. That's just how I play, right? Where... I guess for players who are thinking, I'm maybe missing some kind of context, or I should try a different area, they would in fact pop back out, but that's not what I do. I see a puzzle and I beat my head against it. Or if you have a leaf, yes, Brackinator, that is very true. But the thing is, when I looked at a church, I guess I wasn't really thinking about the ceiling as going somewhere. I was thinking of it as just some kind of joke room where a dry bones actually does rise from the dead. But that's why I'm not always a very successful bank robber. I get caught red-handed. Okay. I don't think I actually punched in next. Rising dry bone level? Yeah. Axeman! Thank you for sticking around. Let's see what you have on offer. Yeah, Grakowski, we tend to kind of work by chains of association. Most recent level, Mr. Streamer. Okay. Powerful Cranium Conundrums. Oh, wonderful. It's a very fresh upload. Very, very fresh upload. It's like you just punched that in right now. Thank you for offering me first clear. I'll use my head in 2 ways to solve these conundrums. Yeah, I see you were holding this one back for the submission. Okay. So we're going to beat our head against this level, I can tell already. This is just reset, right? Should be. Yes, reset if you need a new hat. Okay, be careful. Looks like the ceiling is trying to signal... Well, obviously you're within range of the same on-off. And then... Oh no, I need to beat the first guy first. Okay, so let's reset. Although, if you wanted... So let's say you did this, and then you reset. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I see. Okay, no. Let me see that again. Let me see that again. Because when you come in, yes, there is something that enforces off-screen that you begin with the on state. Okay. Just checking that diligently, but, you know, I've played Pac-Man puzzles before, and I know you're thorough about that sort of thing. Worth checking. Always worth checking. Testing stuff for eventual Super World. Okay, yeah, that's fine. We do that often enough around here, as you know. Okay, so we want access to the right side. Gotta kill this to the right. Probably, I'm guessing this is a side thwomp that we want to send to the right side, and then we tap it in order to kill them both. I don't know what this is doing yet, so it's important that we see. Ah, yes, okay. That allows me, again, to kill that at the same time. That's... We toggle the... No, we can't do that because it kills the lower thwomp. Okay. But it does get rid of the blaster for us, so... It's going to be... One. Nope, hang on. We need to be out of range of this thwomp here. Send it over. Tap. And... Nope. Get him over. Come over. Tap. There we go. Okay, going well so far. Time to be needlessly complacent about how well we're doing. Let's figure out what the thwomp pathways are going to be. Looks like this is going to be to the left. Looks like this guy is to the right. And that it... Okay. Looks like this will involve giving myself some way to... Let's see here. Hit that. I need to know what this does. Okay, that's what it does. That was important information. Because I need to know how I can displace that thwomp. Yeah, it's going to be pushed over here. I need a surface to hit, and it's going to be that top thwomp, which is the only left to right thwomp that we have. In order to get that, we need to kill this guy without killing this guy. Then we activate this, get the push, then we send him over here, and tap. Actually a pretty satisfying sequence. Oh, I was so excited for the Goomba hat, and that's how it goes. I mean, I see it's just a very efficient state reset. Okay, so what do we have here? We have... Icicle up top. Yeah, a POW that can be thrown over there, and the POW... When it goes out the other side, it should make contact, right? Like, I feel like it... Does it make contact, or does it bounce back? It does not make contact, okay. I feel like I'm supposed to know that. And moreover, that this is fine, because what I'm doing is I'm trying to set up these two POWs here, such that they create a chain. Then I drop this crate here. Then I tap this in order to toggle the on-off switch. And yeah, take the POW hat forward. That one was quite satisfying. I like that one. Okay. It's nice to actually feel like I know how to solve things again after what happened with the bank vault lock in the previous level. Whoops. That was accidental. I actually did not mean to push that yet. Alright, the goal screen already. Okay, let's see what's going on. We know that this is going to punch the guy on top. I know that this is going to give me a surface to tap. I know that I probably want the guy up top to be over here such that I have a surface that can be hit with the POW. The way I do it is this. I am going to send him over. Wake up, wake up. It's not. Oh, okay. Left. Ah. Because if I send him to the left, what happens? Let's say I push. I mean, obviously that's not right, but... Okay, no. I know what to try. We do not want to kill the swamp up top. The way we avoid that is by placing this here. Tapping. And then using... Oh, except... Right, can't hold objects with the hat on, which I know because of extensive experience with some other hats that use precisely that interaction. So we move this guy here. Move this here. Only thing being... Just tapping this from the bottom, it's... Yes. Except we lose something by proximity. Okay. Oh, I see, because when you spawn in, that enforces the on state, and so there is something off-screen, like a side thwomp, that is resetting that. Okay, luckily, I don't think we need all 3 hits in order to make that work. Yes, we do. Okay, sliding to the left there and triggering the entry thwomp. Yeah, I mean, I know you're taking this down anyway, but I guess the on-off enforcement should be fixed, because you would want to kill whatever thwomp is enforcing the state, right? If it is something like a side thwomp that is just beneath my feet, for instance, which I suspect it must be, that's the thing you have to patch up. And that's okay. I mean, that's why you send me things. So, in any case, I'm going to figure out the right quarter. Like this. And we'll just get it clear. But yeah, you know what to fix. Everything else worked quite nicely. These aren't always nice as a puzzle structure because when you do something wrong, it gives you the context for understanding what you could be correcting about that in order to get closer. And I like that about puzzles, when you have a sense of progression where you tell yourself, clearly, I'm on the right track, I just did one thing out of order and I need to fix that. And a lot of these rooms follow that logic, where you just realize, okay, no, that's just one thing out of order, fix it, and we're done. And, you know, I think the concept works great, you just need to fix the reset issue and, you know, check all of the reset pipes and states to make sure that doesn't happen with any of the other checks on re-entering the pipe either. But yeah, very nice level. Okay, Brackinator is going to be last in the queue. If Brackinator is still here, sorry, Twitch is totally inaccurate today when it tells me who is or isn't online, so please check in. As in completely inaccurate. So yeah, thank you. So Brackinator, I'll punch you in. At this point, this is going to be last call. This is, of course, the last level that is currently listed. I do have room for maybe one more round, but then that will be it. So I'm going to be closing the queue fairly soon. If nobody submits, we'll just finish on this one. But if any of you have anything additional that you want me to look at, let me know. I know Paxman has sent me something already. Come on, Warp World. Cooperate with me here. Link versus Thwomp. Shellkeep. Link must master the mashers or become mush. Okay. Yeah, we'll just get into this one, and I'll be closing the queue fairly soon. Definitely before the end of this level. Or by the end of this level. But we'll see how Link does with mastering the mashers. Okay, so it's going to tell me that the Thwomp has the key, if I'm understanding this correctly. And, oh, no, there's a P-switch. Okay. Master Sword down here, P-switch over here. A P-switch activation that happens while the Thwomp is dropping into that pit would kill the Thwomp immediately. So that's the thing I'm hoping to do, but I need the P to work. And the way I get the P to work is by dropping a bomb on top of the Thwomp, such that it blows up the hard blocks and makes the P accessible. Okay. E-switch is still active, but that doesn't affect anything other than the conveyors, which is fine. Key is ultimately going to be on the right side. Looks like the middle consists of some potential bomb slots. If we wrap all the way around, a donut block will take us over. And we also have access to a bone shell. That looks important. Once again, this is the same kind of interaction where that blows up. Okay. Now, we still have access to the on switch on the left wall because we have the arrow. I don't need to worry about this state here, in that eventually we'll be sending... maybe not. I think something along here. Okay, so... Oh, didn't expect this set of one-ways over here. Okay, looks like we need to wrap around first. One thing we can do, of course, is just bump the Thwomp. Can I? Bump the Thwomp and just kill it? Or? That's not going to do what I want, and indeed it's going to create some problems. Isn't it? No, I needed to ride the Thwomp up, actually. I need to ride the Thwomp up the center column. Okay, do I have access to a reset door, or do I need to die? I need to die. Yep. I take the bone shell, I use it to make myself invincible, and I pass through the bumpers by being raised by the Thwomp. Okay. Oops. Hey, 1K man, welcome. And let's come in here. Let's do what we said. And yeah, we'll jump on top of the Thwomp. Ride it up. At this point, what I need to do is fall in Okay. And I want to send... No, that was wrong. I did not mean to kick that. I needed to kick that over and collect the key. Grab a new shell and then ride up. But thankfully the shell refreshes off the pipe to the right side. I can just do that again. No, hang on. Let's try to fall in properly for once. Not bouncing all the way, okay. No, I was trying to dismount. Yeah, I think execution-wise, even if you know exactly what to do here... I mean, I know you're kind of limited in terms of spacing because this whole area is one screen wide. It's a very good concept. It's more that I'm definitely dying to an execution mistake. Thankfully, the timer is very relaxed. This is an easy thing to fix, I hope. Whoops. But it really feels like there should have been something like a donut block there, you know? Just to make it less time sensitive. Like something like a donut block right there. I don't think it would have broken anything or trivialized anything, but it would have made this a little bit more manageable. Okay. Let's jump out this way. Tap the initial switch first. Now we get in. Now we kick it, and then I tap it again. Okay, there we go. That's okay. I mean, it's not a problem to have a bit of an execution challenge like that. It just sometimes feels a bit out of place. We do, however, now need... Oh, I see why you have that, actually. It's because of the fact that you need to reactivate on-off. Let's drop here, okay. Yeah, it is tough to fit everything. I agree with that. It's one of those things where, like, I think, like, you know, you would think about subtle changes where it's not so much the slope spacing. The slope spacing is not a problem. But something like a donut block down here would have been probably kind of perfect. Now, I was thinking about how to do a remote activation earlier. Let me see if I might just have to drop a bomb with timing. Let's just... That's probably not the intended solution. But... Hang on. Okay. There we go. Oh, 50 coin. Nope, not even close. Oops. Oh, I lost a bone shell. Fine. Okay. And we were supposed to have the bone shell in this segment anyway, and we'll get a refresh, so not a big deal. Yeah. Okay, so we want to get a scroll break on the right side. And that's going to require me to have a bomb in that segment. Sure. Unless the POW interacts with something that I can't see. Okay. Doing the POW stack here does what? Interesting that you have this up here in the middle segment as well. Yeah, because I want a bomb to drop. And the way I would do that is... For example, by... Can I actually get up there? Yes, I can. And... I do have Master Sword as a refresh up top as well. Because I can just hold the bomb or something. Oh, no, of course not. No, that was a bad idea. I wanted to do something that place a bomb on top, but let's say I stack 2 POWs all the way at the end of that. Say I give myself some room to maneuver over here, maybe. Well, anyway, let's drop the POW stack over here. The POWs definitely die in the lava, and you know that because the pipes keep spawning, so it's not like they're landing on any kind of safe surface down below. And okay. Right, because you can... Yeah, I am thinking about, like, whether I would want to ride down and do a bomb throw. So, for example, if I decided to drop this... Oh, you know what? That's fine. That works too. I like that solution, actually. I like that solution a lot better. A lot better. Gotta be careful here. There we go. Kinda wanted the bone shell back, but deal with it. That's probably just going to be a shield bump. No, that's just a surprise, actually. It's not doing anything. Okay. Now, what's going on? Yes, that's for people who were smart enough to keep the bone shell. Because then you can ride it out. Yep. I see how I would have kept the bone shell. I just needed to take a second one and drop it in a safe location that would allow me to reclaim it before the scroll stop is broken. So, I see how to do it. And of course you use a bomb on the top side here in order to get through and hit the axe. Okay, thank you for the GG. And thank you for the level. That was actually, yeah, quite interesting, I think, in terms of the ways in which several of the pieces, like the thwomps, can be reusable in multiple contexts. So you use, for example, a thwomp as a key holder, as a bomb platform, as a dry bones platform, etc. I think when you have a lot of puzzles that are packed into tight spaces, that is what makes them effective, is that you are thinking about a particular element that is being reframed in a different context, and so you understand it differently as you go along. And so that was a pretty good demonstration of how to do that. So Demonic Egg, thank you for the submission. We'll probably be closing with Paxman and you, actually, because at this point, as I promised, I will be closing the queue. This is running shorter than I usually do. I usually am able to go much longer on the Thursday sessions. Today, for a couple of reasons, I am not really able to go as long as always. But we'll just close up for the moment. And did I mark that as a win? I don't think I did. No. Yeah, so I hope those of you who got your submissions in, wanted to, did so. And I'm going to mark my stream title as closed as well. A Demonic Egg, that is a very good question. So, let me just do my stream title first and then I'll answer that.
So, demonic egg, there actually are kind of two valid answers to that. Quixotic obviously comes from Don Quixote de la Mancha, the foundation of Spanish literature and what they refer to as the modern novel. But in English, for centuries, it has also been alternatively pronounced as quixotic. And so both of those pronunciations in English have a pretty long history behind them. Either one is acceptable. And of course, there's just the letter N after that. So hopefully that answers your question. I occasionally withhold the answer just to see people struggle with it when they're trying to pronounce it on stream. Sometimes people get it very quickly, one of the two, and sometimes they have trouble. So, let's take a look at Pac-Man. S2W 5 W H J L G. And I suppose I should just pick my impression. And if I should just pick, let's just go down the list and take a look at top 5 reasons for wall jumping. Wait. Do you not? Am I supposed to refresh? Ah, no. Great Goomba Heist. Okay, no. I think it was cached from having loaded up your profile earlier. Okay, never mind. So, multiplayer versus and single player. Oh, wonderful. Goomba. Okay. Finally, somebody else is catching on to the brilliance of the Goomba hat. Yeah, no, it cached your profile from how it was looking before. And I know this might be a beta, but either way, thank you for offering me a first clear. We're not doing this as a multiplayer versus, obviously, but I'm always quite happy to see, well, when we get to it, one of the most underrated items of the game. Of course, this is a Pac-Man level, which, much like the water level, is going to teach you not to jump. Okay. I see. So that's Skip Squeak activated. Oh, whoops. Too busy talking. Not enough playing. Okay. So here's how that's going to go. We're going to jump and activate the bomb. That's very satisfying, actually, as a very responsive kind of Skip Squeak trigger. Oh, come on. Go, go, go. Yeah, I can see kind of what's going on, that there will be a bit of a two-way element to this. Using a change in on-off state and probably a change in Mario state as well in terms of your ability to traverse. A change in on-off state, for instance, would get rid of the Pokies because it would block their spawn up top. It would mean that the swamp becomes rideable if you wall jump up to it. So we're going to be going back and forth through this one by the looks of it. Change in on-off state also suddenly makes these bounce platforms potentially much more dangerous. Okay. And makes this more of a jump challenge. And also... Oh, here's Boom Boom just being all spinny. Very nice dynamic level construction what we see here. Not so nice playing that we see from the operator behind the controller. Can't sneak things past this guy. Nope. Oops. Boom Boom in his little padded cell. Okay. Okay, there we go. You know, let's maybe take the fire more seriously. Right, 1K-Man, you were telling me about the Resident Evil Outbreak tribute that you had? Yeah, I mean, sometimes these things just take time. And also when you're done with a level, like, I think it's important to just let it sort of simmer and cook and give yourself some space away from it. And it's a very hard thing to do because I think often we're very excited to get a level done and to get it out the door. And to, you know, start testing right away, and that's good too, of course, but, ooh, 1-up. I think in terms of, you know, being able to do a policy check on your own stuff, that there's a great deal of value to letting things sit. Look at that track block at the bottom. Bottom right, okay, Goomba hat. And look at these Goombas, they're suddenly like, okay, we're cool with you. We're cool. You're one of us. Ain't nobody here but us Goombas. And Boom Boom is just kind of chilling there and thinking, eh, alright. I am calm. I am Boom Boom. I no longer have fury. I like that, actually. Boom Boom is one of the things that's one of the very few things that I did not really play with seriously when testing out the Goomba hat on my own, so like it's kind of nice to see new stuff that's being done with it, that you have a change in Boom Boom obstacles that's created. Whoops. Okay. Nice. Very satisfying. Yeah, actually, the kind of Boom Boom interaction there is pretty hilarious. Just Boom Boom deciding, okay, I'm going to exercise self-control. I've gone through the 12-step program. I've let out my rage. I felt justified in my anger. Now things are settled. We need to get past all this. Skip Squeak is going to be non-responsive. Womp is not going to do much for us, so I need to think about this POW. And we can do here. Boom Boom without fury is indeed a beautiful thing to behold. Like, he's just so mellow. So mellow. Okay, what am I doing here? I obviously want to activate... not the POW stack necessarily, but... Skip Squeak's not going to activate the bomb. Fire is not going to go down. Let me think about this for just a moment. Yeah, he's a sad lad. You know what? Long jump. Okay. That should have been obvious. It's one of the few interactions I am capable of in this form. Now, Cannon Hat. That's interesting. Do I want the Cannon Hat? Do I want to keep the Goomba Hat? I'll keep the Goomba Hat, just to see what happens. Maybe the Cannon Hat is required for something. We will, Oh. The Cannon Hat is just a Cannon Hat. I guess, don't know what that was all about. I guess it just gives you the satisfaction of nuking the Skip Squeak. Hey, blooper jumps. It is unbelievably pleasant, by the way, to, you know, finally see other people taking the Goomba hat with the seriousness that it deserves. It's just a magnificent item. Absolutely magnificent item. And yeah, this is really something that makes good use of it. So. Ooh, okay, that's a bit spinnier than I expected. Did I skip the checkpoint? Curious, because like I feel like I should have hit a checkpoint, shouldn't I, with the crate section. And I thought I did, but maybe I just jumped over it or something. Oh, whoops, no, that was a mistake. Oh, cannon is if I get hit, that's plan B. Okay, I see. Plan B from outer space. Safety of man, the Goomba hat exists in Super Mario 3D World, like several of the box hats. Although several of the box hats are kind of adapted, they're not in their exact form. And this game is also missing the coin box hat. Coin box hat is, in the context of Mario Maker, probably not that interesting. The physics are also a little bit different in that in 3D World, which of course was built with co-op in mind, I believe you could in fact stand on your partner if they had something like the bullet box on their head. I remember that being the case, although it's been a few years since I last played it in co-op. But yeah, that's where the Goomba hat was introduced. The Goomba hat, though, is one of those things where it's especially powerful in the mix-and-match context of something like Mario Maker, because you're not restricted to the official level design. Like, you're not thinking about it relative to the sole instances where it's appearing. You're thinking about it as a series of possible interactions with all of the other elements. And the thing that makes the Goomba hat really special is that it has more unique behavioral interactions with other elements in the game, even within the limitations of the 3D World style, than nearly anything else in Mario Maker. People don't realize that. Like, they don't realize how very good it is in terms of the number of things you can manipulate. Paxman realizes this, which is why he's showing me this level. Level should be SD lock free, yeah, okay. I gotta say, I'm not poking around with that very, very seriously, but okay. Let's learn how to do some basic jumping. Okay. And then long jump. This is a nice moment, actually. I mean, it's a very simple interaction, but there's a bit of an aha associated with it. Also, just crash into the hard blocks right here. Okay, you think the Bullet Bill Hat and POW are Maker 2 exclusive? I believe you're correct about that. There was something... Yeah, Cannon Box is definitely in 3D World, though. Bullet Bill Hat is similar to something in 3D World, but I can't quite place what. It's not the same thing. It's similar to something. Did I totally skip over the checkpoint? Yeah, I did, actually. I think I just jumped right over it. Okay, coin trails are relatively helpful there. Okay, so... Yeah, I've seen a number of 3D World crate levels like this. Oh, no. It's gonna be a problem. So yeah, we're going to fail the heist, unfortunately. And then we'll see what kind of Goomba check there is near the end. I'm sure it's not just going to be a hard check, but rather some kind of bonus by the looks of it. But we're about to find out. Should have made better use of the wall jumps, actually. Just to say centered. I also clearly got into the center much too early. No. Yeah, I needed momentum from an initial jump, I think. Not really thinking about that properly. Okay, wall jump. We'll solve problems over there. Now, yeah, this is plan B, I guess, because the thing about... I mean, you can just... I just gotta jump. No, the thing about the Goomba hat is that it would have blocked the blasters from firing, and it would not give you the cannon hat. That's also a relatively obscure interaction, I think, but yeah, I see that there is a true ending here for Goomba enthusiasts, apparently, although I wonder how that works, because if you jump with the Goomba hat... Oh, I see, because then the Skip Squeak never raises the gate in the first place. The gate never comes up, and the Goomba takes you out the left side. I gotta say, I am kind of tempted to try to replay this for the Goomba route. But maybe not in this sitting. I might return to this to play for the Goomba route, just to see if I can clear that pokey at the very end. And I know that, you know, this might be something that you may want to poke around with for additional versions as you work things into your world. Really great, though. Like I was saying, I'm so glad you caught on to just how good this item is. It's absolutely wonderful. I feel like it's still not totally explored either. That there are more things that can be done with it. You think it'll pretty much come down, but World 5 is pretty much done. Okay. Yeah, looking forward to that when we see it. So, Demonic Egg. Demonic Egg, you, if you are still around, yes, you are. Like I said, Twitch is completely incorrect in its display of who is online today, so. Hope I didn't accidentally skip someone earlier because of that, but I think I did give everyone a chance to check in. Demonic Egg, I know you gave me like a 2-1 or something that was... Or 1-2, don't drink the water. We'll see what that's about. 2-minute record from the cashew. And we see that we're going to need to bounce on some Koopas that are out of their shell. Fairly obvious to me from the previous screen. Oh. Okay, that's going to project to the right. You know, the funny thing is, you're the only person to send me one of these today, so that's like something that is, well, this level of technicality, shall we say. So yeah, I mean, it's the last one in the queue. We'll hopefully be able to stick with it for a generous amount of time. Okay. I was trying to get in on the left side there so I could set the bomb on fire by pushing it towards the piranha in that corner. I think that was very clearly the idea. But that correcting my jumps is, as usual, a bit of a disaster. Okay. Just have to flow this out. No. I want to propel that back to the left because it activates the on-off switch that is underneath the muncher. And that's indicated by the arrow. So it's not like I was just guessing at that. I do think that was supposed to be pretty clear. So yeah, the reason that I'm not going far enough there is that I'm kind of flinching a bit on that jump, despite the fact that the stack above the piranha plant is cleared as I get over there, so. Okay. Yeah, as you can see, now I'm overcorrecting slightly. Landing on the right side of the arrow is what I'm going for. Whoops. Right idea, just slipped. Burkowski, thank you for sticking around for so long today, and for the bank heist bank vault block. we go. And then we just exit Area 1. Okay, pretty nice so far. Yeah, this kind of stuff you do need to sort of take on trust. I just missed the jump that I initially wanted. Wanted to hit the on-off on a previous jump there, but... Okay. Whoops. That's not hard to dodge. Should not be giving me trouble. Nice to have that big buzzy. There is a pretty generous landing zone as well. Okay. Yes, I'm obviously supposed to grab that, but to bounce on the shell afterwards, and then get onto platforms, and then do the throw, so... The signaling has been pretty good. I feel like the mistakes have all been my mistakes, and that's a good sign. And the corners are not terribly tight. I mean, there are certain things that catch me every now and then, but... It's one of those levels where I play it for a bit and I realize, yeah, I'm not worried about this one. I think it's treating me well. This does require you to trust that everything's going to be a full jump. Dry bone segment. Oh, whoops. A little late there. Okay, nope, miss. And, okay, let's continue. Okay. There we go. And, okay, no, because the shell stopped. Shell probably should not have stopped. Right? That's, I knew something was missing there, but when I was busy executing everything, it was not clear to me what I was missing. Either that, or maybe I had a throw that was off target. Okay, well... Oh, I'm not supposed to jump on a shell, am I? I'm probably... I don't know, it looked like I was. But if I jump on it, it does... into a dead stop. Okay, that's something I'll have to reread, I think. Yeah. Yeah. Much better. Okay, I just needed a low controlled jump. Yes. Much clearer to me now on that latest attempt. Bounce. 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 Felt like I was a little later than usual, but it worked, so up until that moment. Okay. Okay. This is not gonna be too bad. Yeah. Okay, I just came in a little far on the left there. I see it as a trick to the landing after grabbing the Goomba there is just to let the platform drop a little lower so I can get some decent headroom and speed into the next jump after that. So, a lot of things here that we can fix up a little bit at a time. Oops. Okay, here we are. Yeah, that's just a low bounce. And then a bounce off the spiny, and then we are out of there, so... Okay, just, you know, one or two little things to repair on each successive attempt, and then we should be done with it soon. Now, the fact that this is 1-2 kind of makes me interested in what the total outcome of the world is going to be in terms of how much you've got going on. Because it seems like it's one of those that really marks out what kind of player it's going to be for right from the start. Also, I guess in a world context, it makes sense to have some coins here as a controlled source of 1-ups, and have a reason to chase some of the 50 coins earlier in the layout. So, thank you for 1-2, Poisonous Pressure from Demonic Egg. Mark that as a win. Okay, so that is, I believe, the end of the queue for today. Usually when I have a lot of time left over with the queue empty, you know, I open for more submissions, and I would have just left it open for longer, typically. But we do have a few constraints on our end today that mean that I do have to wrap it up a little earlier than I tend to do on the Thursday stream. And so yeah, you'll probably never get around to finishing the world. Okay, that's unfortunate, but at the same time we can enjoy what you are managing to produce. I mean, Super Worlds are, by their very nature, very ambitious projects, and just to crank out one level at a time when you are able to, I think, is going to be an accomplishment enough. I mean, that one was a fine piece of work. I was quite happy with it. And yeah, so some of you are already aware of the new Discord that we have set up, and some of you I know who are remaining in the stream have joined, but I'll just post a link one more time because we will, in the weeks ahead, have a few slightly volatile scheduling changes here and there because of a couple of things that are going on offline over at our end that are making things irregular. So that's the best way to keep up with it, but in the meantime, we will try to keep running a decent schedule of viewer levels and other Mario Maker content week to week. Typically, it's on the Saturday stream that we do a big overnight catch-up from Saturday to Sunday in NA and Sunday morning in EU. This week, we'll see if that happens. There are some potential difficulties with it, but it will hopefully be the preview of the final, so we think, round of levels from the 4YMM, 4 Years of Mario Maker Project, which has 1 week to go. And so we'll be covering that in conjunction with viewer levels week to week and some other related content. And in the meantime, let me just say, first of all, thank you to Safety of Man for cataloging some of that stuff. I did timestamp some things for the people who are users over there in that community, by the way. I do occasionally update them on when their things get played, and so I've tagged them in the past for that. So I think some of them are aware of that already, but thanks for all your work on it anyway. That's, yeah, definitely not something I expected anybody to put work into doing. And Safety of Man, I'm glad you have been having fun with 4YMM. You did tell me that you caught up on Welcome to the Machine, which of course has a certain kinship with your own recent Zappa Mecha level. And in the meantime, thanks for watching. I will be passing you all on, usually, to another Mario Maker stream, and hopefully one that is taking levels. But then sometimes there may be some surprises, so who knows. I'll scan around, hang on tight. I'll try to pass you on to somebody interesting within the next minute or so. So, all of you, have fun.